This story is called A Certification in Multidimensional Engineering by Boolane123 from the Short Stories subreddit. This was the 5th time I was up there, guarding the cordon area with the same few workers I saw the last 4 times, meandering around like they were guarding a lemonade stand instead of something as important as they claimed it was. Each time I came here, I tried to poke around, find new face to ask, or come up with new ways to ask, but I kept getting the same vaguely similar answers. When I asked them, they hit me with it's a radiation leak, please stay back for your safety, or I think it's some sort of chemical spill, you should probably stay back. Each time the answer was delivered with the seriousness and confidence of a day one fast food drive-thru worker. I believe what they said, but we're in the middle of Gary, Indiana of all places. There's nothing that could cause a radiation leak, much less get half of my neighborhood fenced off. Yet, here I was, staring at the same barricades and the same crew for the 5th time, trying to figure out why I'm the only one who thinks this is weird. Tomorrow. Day 6 and they're still here. And I'm here again. But still, the answers haven't changed. After another frustrating exchange, I decided to turn tail and head back home. I figured maybe I'd just try to let it go, like my girlfriend tells me to keep doing. When I get home, I did my usual, greeted by my girlfriend, pet the dog, sat down at my desk to finish a story that was due yesterday. I mined through my writer's block for a few minutes when an earth-shattering boom came from the cordon zone. I sprang to my feet and ran to the living room. Beth? No answer. Elizabeth! What, Tony? She said. You hear that boom? I asked. She said, yeah, but it's probably nothing. Just ignore it. So I says, what do you mean ignore it? I felt like it almost took the frickin' house down. She rolled her eyes and went back to what she was doing, leaving me standing there like a lunatic. After that got old, I ran to the door and ran down the road to the cordon. This time, I wasn't asking questions. I was just going to see the spill for myself. I ran to the house at the edge of the cordon and jumped a few fences to bypass the guards. I have no idea what I was looking for, but I figured I'd know it when I saw it. Boy, was I wrong. I came around the corner to the last fence, jumped and locked eyes with something. Yeah, something. It's the best name I could come up with for it. Looks like some sort of hole, maybe? Whatever it was too much for my mind to comprehend. The edges looked like they couldn't agree on what shape it was supposed to be. The thing would shrink to the size of a marble to the peripherals of my eyes and grow to eat a whole yard when I looked right at it. It whooshed and hummed with what sounded like an argument being yelled through the walls, but not with words. All that while it shifted in and out of colors I couldn't name. It seemed to speak to me without words. It drew me in with the soft sounds of its sharp, gravelly, soundless voice. As it entranced me, suddenly a hand reached from the side and pushed me away. Following that hand was an arm, then a shoulder, then the rest of the body flopping out and onto the ground. The body, dressed in some sort of hazmat suit, quickly stood up, turned around, and pulled 4 more bodies out, some of which were definitely not human. I thought the sight of real aliens would hit me differently, but that thing, or anomaly, maxed out my mind-blown meter for the day. After the hazmat man finished the task, he turned to me and said, you probably don't want to swim in that. You see or hear about the last guy that tried to go without training? No, I said. Exactly, he said. What is it? I asked. He started to explain it, but all I could hear from his mouth was static. One of the aliens he pulled out from the thing stood up and smacked him on the head. He doesn't have a certification in multidimensional engineering, you dolt. His brain literally can't comprehend what you're saying. He probably doesn't even comprehend the anomaly. The first man shoved him back. They put me in charge of this squad, so if I'm a dolt, what does that make you? I chuckled a bit. These two argued like Ma and Pa, but with hazmat suits and a few more limbs on one of them. They turned to me and in unison snapped, something funny, kid? Before I could even answer, the alien threw his arms up and asked, how did you even get in here? Didn't you see the guards? I saw them. They don't seem like the sharpest hammers in the shed. The alien bobbed his head and chuckled in agreement. The alien spoke. Listen, kid. You're only going to hear static when he explains the anomalies because the words to explain it are complex for the uncertified. If you tried to explain it in a way you'd understand it, the mental overload would probably kill you. In that case, what's the certification and multi-doohickey you guys are talking about? How do I get one? What's in the anomaly? How did you guys find it? What do you do? Slow down, kid, the hazmat man said to me. Look, kid, we're hiring. Looks like you weren't affected by the anti-suspicious field, so you're probably a good candidate to join us. If you complete the training and get your certification in multidimensional engineering, all your questions will be answered. That's cool, but can you just give me a hint of what's in there? Cert first, answers next. He pulled out a notebook and scribbled some information on it and handed it to me. He said to meet at the address tomorrow at noon, then directed his squad back into the anomaly. Tomorrow again. Day 7 and they're still here. I'm not, though. I'm on my way to what I thought was my job interview. It was a bit of a drive, but I got to the building. It wasn't much to look at, just a beige cube-shaped building with a door in the center and 3 metal government-type insignias on the front. I made my way in, waved at the well-dressed man sitting in the lone chair reading a newspaper, and stopped to ask if he knew where I needed to go. But before I could ask, he pointed to the elevator and said, "Floor 5. Well, it does what it's told, so I made my way to the elevator up to the 5th floor. The elevator door opened to reveal a long silver hallway with a single room at the end. I walked to the room, opened the door, and to my surprise, was just a table and a screen. I sat down and waited for whatever was supposed to happen next. The lights in the room dimmed, the screen came to life. It instructed me to put my belongings into the newly formed hole in the floor next to me. I whispered, "It does what it's told," and I did what I was told. Following that, it went on to congratulate me on getting the job. I was a bit shocked I got it so easily, but whatever, I guess. I got the job. A bed rose from the ground with some uniforms on it. The screen said to get some rest because training starts tomorrow. Tomorrow again. Day 8 and they might still be there? I don't know. But I'm here in this building. Training started off simple. A table and a chair rose from the ground with some paperwork on it. It was just some math and science work, not too far to my skill level. That was where the normal stuff ended, though. The table sank back into the floor and reappeared with a box of random shapes. A screen appeared on the wall in front of me and told me to count the objects in the box. Easy enough. I peeled back the lid and the objects inside began to float away as if they weren't affected by gravity. I started to count them, but they kept disappearing or teleporting to random locations in the training room. It was all day, but the highest number I got was 45. But I lost count after they disappeared for like 30 seconds and came back scattered across the room. I don't think they're supposed to do that. The next day. It's day 9. There's no way they could still be there. I'm here, though, still training? If that was even what it is. The screen in the training room came to life and it read, "Today's task is simple. Tie a knot in some water." My facial expression said, "What the hell do you mean tie a knot in water?" Faster than my lips could. I asked the screen what the hell that had to do with training, and he simply told me, "It all makes sense when you're certified." I rolled my eyes and said, "Thanks, Mr. Miyagi." Anyway, I spent the next 4 hours trying to tie a knot in the stream of water now falling from the ceiling. After those frustrating 4 hours, the water stopped, the screen came to life and congratulated me for passing this assessment. I never managed to tie the knot in the water, but a win's a win, I guess. And the next day. It's day 10. I'm here. Today's task, balance a bowl of water on your head, underwater. And the next day. It's day 11. Today's task, convince a mirror that it's a window. And the next day. It's day 12. Today's task, sort these socks into zero gravity. And the next day. It's day 20. Today's task, sorting alternate dimensions alphabetically. This one had me fuming. After a few hours, I asked the screen if I could leave, but it reassured me certification will make this all make sense. And the next day, it's day 35. Today's task, sorting marbles by temperature. And the next day, it's day 78. Today's task, assembling IKEA furniture without instructions. Wait, isn't this the furniture in the other room? I'm starting to think this is just a free labor camp. And the next day, it's day 95. Today's task, make 2 parallel lines meet. Wait, that's not how geometry works. It's not geometry, it's reality. Simply bend the concept of parallel. I tried for a few hours and gave up. In response, the screen turned on with some words of encouragement. You're doing better than most recruits, only 73% failure rate today. And the next day, it's day 100, final task. The table I'm pretty sure I assembled a few months ago rose from the ground with a paper and a pen. The paper had simple instructions. Draw the anomaly from memory. My mind hurt from trying to imagine what I saw long ago. I began to draw and think back to all those tasks. As I finished my final task, everything began to fall into place. The socks, the bowl, convincing the box that it's a sphere, it all made sense. I finished. My drawing is done. My training here is done. My certificate in multidimensional engineering began to print from the wall. I ran up, grabbed it, and cheered to myself. Suddenly, another paper printed from the wall. It was my first assignment. Tomorrow you report to anomalous location 4498. Location 5388 US-95, Amargosa Valley, Nevada 89020. Time 800. Your flight leaves in 15. Report to the hangar. For the first time in 100 days, the door to the hallway opened, and a green path lit up on the floor. As I walked through the open hallway, I couldn't help but wonder, was I ready for whatever this job actually was? The first day. I'm here, pulling up in my company vehicle. I made my way around the corner to meet my supervisor, the same man who had hired me so many days ago. He walks me to the next anomaly. I hear the same familiar sounds. I feel the same as I felt long ago. This time is different. I can comprehend it. I walk to the anomaly and reach out for it. I push my head in and see... Wait. I don't have a certification in multidimensional engineering, do you? I would explain it to you, but you're only going to hear static when I explain it. Even if I tried to explain it in a way you'd understand, the mental overload would probably kill you. That was a story called A Certification in Multidimensional Engineering, written by BooLane123 from the Short Stories subreddit. Thanks for listening. Hope to see you next time.